once again, my friends, pioneers, werewolves, divergence, and glitches to another episode of the Daily Candle Close News. Sending you all much love and high vibrations out to wherever it is you may be in the Matrix and Galaxy today.
What the hell is that? That's the chief.
Alright, pioneers, it is Master Chief 117, Coach Abe, here with Master Your Reality. Go and check out his YouTube right now, today. Get a like, a subscribe, and a follow going on, because this gentleman is cracking some domes and some pineal glands in the Matrix out here today, in the world we live in the realm we live in. How we doing today, my brother?
I'm doing amazing, and friendly hello to all the beautiful souls tuning in today. If you're watching this and you are the master of your reality, my name is Trevor, and I am the master of my reality. And I want to give a huge thank you to my friend Honest Abe here, or should I say Mr. XR Billionaire.
Thank you for that.
But much love and gratitude to you for hosting our transmission today. And how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm blessed. Living another beautiful day. I'm with my son, my mom. I'm visiting family in Florida. We went to the beach this morning, so not a worry in the world. Hakuna Matata, my friend.
That's beautiful.
Yes, you just brought up something that was very powerful. You said you are the master of your reality, and you know, I figured we would start there because of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewrite its own programming, is something that I believe in, and it's been clinically trialed, peer-reviewed, group studied by, doctors of Western medicine, if we believe in that, you know what I'm saying? But it's been shown that things like the placebo effect, or just a simple thought, taking a thought and turning it into your reality, could change the brain's rewiring. And this has a lot to do with me, with the teachings, my motivation, and my manifestation that I bring to my channel. Something that I resonated in you when I went to your channel and I watched that very powerful welcome video. I'm not sure where it's at. It was on my phone right there underneath your name. But that welcome video, I mean, I knew I resonated with you right then. And then after watching your work, I saw that you were, just, we are all one and the same. You am I am you. And I knew I wanted to do some collaboration and work with you, brother, because I believe that, well, we're the greatest of all time within our own paradigm, the president of our life. You give shout outs to Coach JT and the 3T Warrior Academy, so I know you've been raised right as a warrior, as a pioneer, as the master of your reality. And that's a long, I guess you can call me a follower of Coach JV. I'm a fellow warrior, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I've used that motivation and everything in my life through the hurts, habits, and hang-ups, the trials and tribulations that I've had to overcome to become the architect and the alchemist, aka the master, the pioneer of my reality, by living through what I've walked through, by leading by example, etc. But you, my friend, are the epitome of what your work explains, and I definitely wanted to give a shout out to that and get your perspective on, well, why do you do what you do? How did it start? And what does it mean?
Yeah. Well, thank you. And first, big shout out to Coach JV, man. That was actually like the first, how I really got my start in crypto is finding his work, and also Waters Above, just other masters of their reality, and your work as well. I really resonate with your stuff, and obviously you are also aware of this truth that you are the master of your reality, and that's what it is to me. It's really the truth of all truths, if you will, is that we have complete choice and control over how we respond to the events and circumstances that we find ourselves in. And there is an immense power in that. Once you embody that truth, is that you can create the reality that you want. And 100% the brain's neuroplasticity ability to change and evolve is a big part of this, and understanding how you can fine tune and reprogram your mind to create the reality that you desire. And so that's
Mm.
really what my work is about, is giving and the individuals are seeking, empowerment, self-empowerment. That is my mission statement, is to promote self-empowerment and inspire positive action. And so that's why I created this channel, to promote self-empowerment and inspire positive action. I think consciousness and cryptocurrency are two important things, important ideas that deserve a lot of attention. So yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. We will get to the crypto, but you mentioned fine tune. And while
Mhm.
we're speaking on this, I think one of the greatest tools that I've used to fine tune the pioneer that I am, not yet who I want to be, who I am gonna be one day. I know that because I'm manifesting it, right? As if it's already been received. But I fine tune by tuning into so I can turn into. See, what you tune into, you turn into. And like you said, by tuning into some of these like minded individuals like Coach JV, like Waters Above Crypto, like yourself, if people resonate with the work we're laying down here, give it a thumbs up, like you see on the screen. But it's all leading towards that self empowerment, becoming your greatest version. That enlightenment, the true enlightenment is the light in the mind. By turning on that light switch, we can help be a light to others, an echo
Yeah.
into tomorrow. And I can see that we got the same end goal there.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things to kind of bring some utility to this for anyone who's new to this idea of reprogramming your mind, neuroplasticity, is understanding what your reality is. And so that's why I created these my foundational video series, understanding who slash what you are,
Mm,
and then what is reality,
correct.
and it's all connected. And then the last one is what is the purpose of it? What is the purpose of life? And so these are often really big questions that come up in one's uh, journey of enlightenment, of self-discovery, if you want to say that. And so part of what reality is to me is you have your experience, which is your reality, right? And so let me just go to this image I have
You can
here.
share the screen at any time, yeah.
Okay, let me pull this image up real quick, and I will. Sorry about this.
No,
Should
you're
have had
fine.
it ready.
Yeah, because
Um,
I mean, you're hitting on one thing you talked about when you spoke about the programming and everything. You spoke about environment, experience, and programming in one of your videos when you were breaking down
yeah.
who am I, who are you.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right,
Let's share
right
my
down there at the
screen.
bottom, and you should see the present button.
Okay, here we go. Should be. Oh, I don't have permission. Darn.
Oh,
Well, if could I send you the image?
Send
Maybe.
it to me through Discord in a private
Okay,
message. I'll pull it up that way. We'll get it done for sure.
perfect. Yeah, because this is can be a complicated subject to talk about, so I like to have these visual aids um, to assist me in my ideas. But
Right
so I just sent it over to you.
there we go. I got it on the screen.
Okay, beautiful. So this is kind of
Mm,
an image I created to help people understand how their reality works. And so I want to start off with how your reality works. And so let's start off with the environment. And the environment is basically everything in your surroundings. It is your sensory input, and your environment influences your programming. And your programming is basically your subconscious mind. And over time, we go through our environment, and our environment rubs off on us, so our experiences throughout our entire life creates our subconscious mind, our program. And it is your programming, the subconscious mind, that filters your environment. Whatever your input is, it filters that and gives you your understanding, your personal understanding. And that is what creates your experience. And so this is a system that is constantly, ongoing and evolving and changing. And your experience is basically your feelings, right? Like how you in the now moment, how are you feeling? That's your experience. And the action, this is the important part, the action that you take from your experience has an impact on your environment, which then impacts your programming, which then impacts your experience, and the cycle continues. And so your response, if you want to create a better reality for yourself, it's all about how you respond to the experience that you're having. And your ability to respond to your experience depends on your level of self-awareness. So this is where this, awareness comes into play. And
Correct.
you can increase your self-awareness by raising your frequency. I actually just posted a video about this idea of raising your frequency, raising
Correct.
that energetic vibration that all of us have.
I watched
And awesome, yeah. And you raise your frequency by removing these energetic restrictions that we have. We are, like, at our purest level, we are pure energy, we are light, and that, at its purest form has such an infinite frequency. We want to go fast. We
Correct.
want to have that unlimited experience, but
that
we
adrenaline.
yeah, absolutely. And but we have these limitations, and some of them are good. Some of them are necessary for us to have this amazing temporary human experience. But others, we
Limiting
want,
beliefs.
limiting beliefs. And these limit us from our potential. And so by removing these energetic restrictions, it allows you to raise your frequency, raise that level of self-awareness, which then helps you be a better master of your reality. We are all the master of our reality, whether we like it or realize it or not. It's about taking ownership of that identity and being the best master that you can be.
Correct. Be all you can be. Yeah, it's more than just a saying. I'll say that. No doubt. But yeah, that's why I spoke about your experience, your environment, your program, and I knew exactly where you were going to go with that. And you already brought up my next question was hitting on the subconscious, conscious mindset. And you spoke about that pretty brilliantly. And I love this layout. Beautifully presented and put together.
Thank you.
Definitely glad I got a screenshot of that now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, I think we could use it most definitely. This your reality starts from this circle right here, your eye, your perception, and then it comes back to you, and you live it out through your reality. That's why I believe in, again, the neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewrite its own programming by unlocking that third eye, that one within.
Yes.
No doubt. The true light in the mind, the enlightenment is.
Yeah, and over time, over time of you consciously changing your environment, that is what creates your new programming. The neural like pathways in your mind rewire themselves to a more efficient wiring for whatever your environment is. So that's really, I love the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you're familiar with him, with heart-brain coherence. And really, the mind and body are one, and when you connect that heart the feeling of your heart, not letting your mind lead your heart, but rather your heart leading the mind. That's really where some magic starts happening.
Correct. That true heart brain coherence is what I aim for, you know.
Absolutely.
Living in a state of abundance in that right hemisphere of the brain where I can grow, and not that left lack logic hemisphere, you know. Where I know you know who teaches that.
Sure.
Yeah. But now how do you take your work and center it to involve the cryptocurrency markets like you were speaking about earlier with crypto and enlightenment and becoming your master of your reality? Why is crypto involved? Can you explain that? Where do you see it going? Like, you must have
Yeah,
a outlook on this.
yeah, absolutely. So obviously, money is an important aspect of one's reality. Money is simply a tool that opens opportunities and helps, just can help you create the reality you desire more easily with the abundance of money. And so I see the time that we are in as an incredibly transformative one, filled with opportunity. And I see cryptocurrency as the single most biggest opportunity to radically increase one's financial standing in this reality. And so that's why I tie in this cryptocurrency, my outlook on it, into the work that I do. And that's, probably I'm sure you might have a similar feeling about that, but we're drawn here to crypto, these communities, because I think deep down we know that we are in a very transformative time, and it's a good place to invest your attention.
Yeah, yeah, do believe the same thing, and I agree with that. Like you said, money, we simply need it to have that desired reality that we're trying to build, like you showed in your blueprint. Cream, cash rules everything around me. We know the famous saying there.
Yeah.
And I agree. Crypto is the next Amazon. It's the next big boom. You know, the fourth industrial revolution and the greatest wealth transfer me and my kids, any kids listening will ever witness. You know,
Yeah.
I do believe in that, and I get this famous Dan Pena video from the old Bearable Bull videos back in like 2017 and 18 when he was, what are you gonna tell your kids and your grandkids 20 years from now when they say, "Gee, ma, gee, granddad, what were you doing during the greatest transformation
Yeah,
of wealth?"
yeah. I just made a little edit. I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw it. I posted on my Twitter from it was actually from the song with XRP bags, and I made a little edit just for fun.
Um,
With that clip in there, because it really, there's a lot of truth in that. Like this opportunity is only going to happen once.
right.
So you gotta your future self is counting on you. Your it's that one with Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon.
Kids and your grandkids 25 years from now,
I don't
when
know
they
if we
say,
get audio.
"Gee, Daddy, gee, Grandpa, what were you doing other than having your thumb up your big
Are you hearing
fucking
the audio?
ass
Yeah.
during the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the world? What were you fucking doing?"
I've been accumulating like a drunken sailor.
My backs be so full, right around on big bulls. Shooting for the moon, XRP gonna rule. We didn't break no rules, but we gon' break through. Had to drain my pool so I could make some room. I showed you the proof, even
Haven't
when
heard
it's
this
to the
XRP bag song.
booth. But you still was doomed, couldn't comprehend the truth. Now we blasting out the room like a star gon' shoot. Let's go hoop, alley-oop, throw it down like a noob. Couldn't grasp it, guess you too cool. You rather watch the news, infected with the blues. BG got the detonator, it's about to boom. I keep a little under my pillow like a tube. Ooh, round and round and round we go. Round and round and round we go. Up and up and up we go. We the ones that stole the show.
Nice. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Well, cool.
But yeah,
Hopefully
that's exactly what I was talking about right there.
Yeah. Hopefully the viewers could hear the audio. I don't know if it's just something on mine and I didn't hear anything, but
Yeah,
the video
they should have been able to. I was
check it
able
out.
to, so at least on the replay, they will certainly be able to. I know that when I upload it to Rumble or something, Um,
I actually wanted to ask you, what is your take on the greatest transfer of wealth? What does that mean to you?
well, personally, I believe it's going to be more draconian and a track, trace, and tag your every financial move down to the penny and the fractions of it. To be quite frank, but at the same time, am I in it to try and prosper my family's wealth for the long term, for generations to come? Yes. Am I here to try and make a little bit of some change along the way? So maybe in case I got to build a little hut in the woods, cool. I don't know. To me, I'm definitely involved. I've been involved in crypto for many, many years. 2011 and 12. I held upwards of
Wow.
4,400 Bitcoin, you guys, and I sold it. I got rid of it in an exchange, and I was in prison, so it's like I basically held the address. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I got rid of it in exchange, and April Fool's Day, the next year it hits $111, and I'm sitting here like doing the math, like that's upwards of $500,000. Probably $250,000 after taxes. And so I've seen this boom and bust in crypto going on for many years, and I've always believed that there could be an event around Bitcoin, kind of like you talk about in your videos, maybe possibly an
Yeah.
XRP becoming the next big thing. A lot of people in the XRP community believe that. I could see a possibility of a law of equivalent exchange happening one day if, say, we were to see a prolonged massive internet outage. Bitcoin running on electricity, XRP being the only crypto that is, well, able to run without the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like these are, green efficient facts and things like that the community speak about. Like I can see these narratives and how they would be portrayed to the masses and how it could happen. But my ultimate outlook on crypto is it's not good. It's not what we truly want. It's going to be what they give us in the Hegelian dialectic, the problem, reaction, solution, when we're out here, well, when we're screaming we need water, when we're out here screaming, we've lost it all, and, well, they give us crypto, and people take it. Governmental basic income, they're going to take it. Central bank digital currencies, they're going to take it, America has no backbone, I believe, and I think they're going to easily, under the guise of safety, destruction, and stability, they're going to give up more of their livelihood and freedom.
Yeah, I definitely think that will be the reality that a lot of people experience.
Correct.
I try to focus on the more positive side of it, and the freedom that it will create for us, the ones who are, have a more conscious perspective on things and are aware and investing in these, and not just waiting for it to hit us like a tidal wave.
Yeah.
There's going to be different realities to this, and for some people it will be an extremely positive impact, and for a lot of people it could be seen as negative. But everyone gets the reality that they need. It's all perfect in its own divine way. And so we're here, and the people watching this video and in our communities, they're taking action, man. They're researching and investing in this stuff. And so I think we're gonna have a very positive experience going through this. And so I really don't think there's anything to fear or look negatively forward for us in our realities. But yeah, and by the way, to me, the greatest transfer of wealth is simply the move of, or the representation of, real world value on blockchain. Right? That in my opinion is only gonna really happen once, like one big wave. Sure, it's gonna move around as time goes on, but there's really only gonna be one big wave of value coming on chain. And that's what we haven't experienced yet, and that's what makes me so excited, because once that value comes on chain, it's going to be in a massive tsunami, and that's kind of what we're all looking forward to here.
Correct. Yeah, and I agree with that. Your look on the value, especially when we're looking at things like tokenization of possibly even the debt. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And I think we're heading into a possible debt crisis
the
and liquidity
derivatives
crisis.
market.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, nostro vostro derivatives. I mean, a whole lot of things. Um, but when we look at things like real world assets, and you know the tokenization of, like you're saying, real world assets, um, that's definitely something that itches and keeps me excited when it comes to being involved in an early adopter in crypto.
Yeah,
But my wealth, my value is what you see on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it transcends the crypto sphere, and it goes back to, like we were talking about, awareness earlier, knowledge, gnosis, wisdom, and awareness, being aware of what it is we're involved in, and taking applied action, not letting our emotions get involved, and you know, trying to evolve in this process, but simply just gaining the awareness of what's to come, trying to prepare others. I think that's wealth that could be left for generations to come.
absolutely. That's where the real wealth is at, man. It is, and crypto is only just one little aspect of all this.
Right.
Money. I'm sure you know this. The increase of money doesn't make you a better person. It just makes you more of the person that you are. It amplifies you,
Right.
and so that's why it's important to you know work on the other things that are more important than crypto, which we come back to this gnosis, this consciousness idea. And so that's why I love your work, brother, because it's you're obviously very in tune and aware of the importance of this gnosis.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate that.
that yeah, that's where hopefully everyone who's watching, that's where your priority should be first.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a lot to handle sometimes, man. I just I always wanted to be different, and I always am. I don't think there's another like me, even though I got a twin brother. Um, we're two different peas in a pod. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I try to bring the spice, and I try to bring, like you said, the knowledge, the gnosis, and the wisdom. I try to bring a different approach to things, and I try not to follow the rules. Like, that's my biggest thing. I try to become my own version, like my greatest version, and I can't do that by getting stuck in somebody else's group think, or following the leader. I got to become my own master of my reality, and the pioneer. Um,
Absolutely, the pioneers. We are visionaries. We are
mhm.
leaders, and I think now is a really cool time to be here because you have visionary leaders,
Correct. Correct.
and like I think a lot of leaders, a lot of the time, a visionary will hire a leader or employ a leader to command or lead
Right.
their people, but a lot of times just the leader doesn't might not have the vision. And so I
Mhm.
think it's beautiful what we're seeing with me, you, and Waters, and a lot of these other content creators, is you have these visionary leaders.
Right.
And
Facts.
visionaries, they're like lone wolves. They go off and do their own thing, not really in the spotlight. But we have this technology that allows these visionaries, us to create this platform, which we get this, allows us to share our ideas with people. And so that's why, and leadership skills are an important thing to have as in that position, right?
Right, right. Yeah, I got the pen and paper here. I've been old school. I'm 34, just turned 34 this past week. I didn't have this growing up. This ability to sit down and communicate long distance. I remember when the first phone came out. You know what I'm saying? The cell phone, at least. We had phones and recliners in cars when I was growing up. You guys, with the cord still on it, rotary style and shit. But yeah,
That phone.
we didn't have this ability, and it's beautiful, breathtaking at times. I admit that. Um, I'm blessed. I'll say that.
Absolutely.
I admit it to people all the time. Like, Coach used to be a slime ball. You know what I'm saying? I used to lead a multitude of people towards, hell on earth, and now I'm out here trying to become that greatest version, trying to inspire others to do the same thing, collaborating with beautiful souls like yourself, doing the work leading by example, becoming that greatest version. And I'm just trying to lead them to, that heaven on earth now. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta have help. Like, it takes a village, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm out here raising a child, single father, only parent. It takes a village. Got my mom helping me at times. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it's the same thing with anybody that may, well, resonate with what we're putting out there in the world, and this content and this artwork that we provide.
Absolutely.
Perfect. The 5.3% theory. I'm able to pull it up on your Twitter, your X.
Yeah.
If I have to pull up a picture of it, but I stopped sharing the screen, and now maybe it should allow you to present. I don't see any other options to give you permission, but maybe it's because two people can't share at the same time, and I was on the stage with my screen. So hopefully it'll allow it to pull up, and maybe you can explain your theory on this 5.3% theory, and how maybe it's a suggestion, it's hypothetically, if maybe the top is already in, or if we can slightly go a little bit higher, like your work shows, and where you got this. I thought it was very, very interesting, and I like math.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, it's telling me I need to change something in my system preferences and then restart Chrome to share my screen, so I won't be able to do that.
Not a
But
problem.
if you could pull up that photo that I posted on my Twitter account of that, all the Bitcoin cycles, there's a lot of information on there we can work off of.
Right. There we
Beautiful. So yeah, I actually found this 5.3 rule from Crypto Crew University. I just stumbled on one of his videos one day, so shout out to him for discovering this.
I think one of my pioneers has recently shared his work. I haven't got a chance to check it out yet, but I think this is the second time I've come across this name recently.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big channel. But yeah, so I found this 5.3 rule from his work, and then I've kind of added my own twist onto it. But basically what this 5.3 rule is each Bitcoin cycle, you can predict the next cycle's gains by dividing the previous cycle's gains by 5.3. And what that means is Bitcoin has a diminishing rate of return of 5.3. This has been proven cycle after cycle. And so we can run through the math real quick for those who haven't seen anything about this theory before.
Sure.
But
if I need to do something, just let me know.
No, you're good. So the first cycle, when Bitcoin first reached 1 cent, all right, it's not taking into account when it was below 1 cent, but that was with the launch of Mt. Gox, which was like the first major exchange that allowed. That was like when a bunch of people came into crypto, or not a bunch, but it was like the first major wave of trading. So if we assume that this is where the first cycle starts, we measure up to the top of that first wave, up to 3191, I believe. Yeah, that's what it says. That was a move of 319,000%. All right. So if it had already happened, and then you take that gain, you divide that by 5.3, that gives you 60,188. And the next gain cycle from the following bear market low to the next run up high was a total move of 62,312%, which is so close. It's a 3.529 discrepancy away from what the 5.3 rule gave us.
As above, so below. Slightly off.
Yeah, a little bit off. It's not going to be perfect, but there is like an average discrepancy of around 5%.
Right.
So then we take that gain, 62,312, we divide that by 5.3, that gives us 11,756. The next cycle's gain was 12,124, 3.128% away from what the 5.3 rule predicted. So close. Most people don't even get near that level of accuracy in their trading. So this is pretty wild, the level of accuracy we're seeing with this.
Right.
All right. So then we take 12,125 and we get 2,287. Well, the next cycle's gain was 2,108. And this was the first cycle where we had a discrepancy to the downside, what was lower than what was predicted. The previous two cycles, we actually got gains that were higher than what the 5.3 rule predicted.
Right.
But this time was the first time where we got an 8.49 discrepancy lower than what the rule predicted. So, you know, that's showing a little bit of change there. And you can see in all these charts, it's starting to look a little different as we progress. You know,
Correct.
You know, obviously we're not getting as much gains. So if we use the 5.3 rule again to predict what we should have for this cycle, we take the previous cycle's gains of 2,108, divide that by 5.3, and we only get 398. So we can expect, based on this rule, which has never been invalidated, you know, this has been in place in cycle after cycle, around 398% gains for Bitcoin this cycle. Well, so far in the current cycle, our current all-time high, I believe, is around almost 74,000. I think it's like 73,800 something.
Correct.
And so that we're already up 376% from the lows back in the beginning of, when was that, 22?
Yeah, that was late November, January 2022, leading into 2023.
Okay, so you know, around the end of 2022, and then so we're already kind of within this range that we see for this 5.3 rule. You know, it's a 5.8 discrepancy, 5.8% discrepancy away from what the 5.3 rule predicted. So, you know, we're in the range of possibilities. And so once I figured out these discrepancies and realized that, I went ahead and made the video where I said, hey guys, like, could the top already be in? You know, it was very, what seemed to be a very unpopular thing. You know, I really haven't heard anyone else say this, but, you know, I'm just showing, you know, what the math is suggesting to me.
Right. Yeah, I haven't suggested the top was in. I have been calling for a pullback, but I do think if we pop back up there and see 75, 76, which is something I thought we could see in April around the eclipse leading into tax day, during the end of cherry blossom season, something I teach about. But you know, we ain't seen it yet, and now we're heading into May Day. The May Day sell-off we're starting to see as of yesterday, even more evident. You know, starting to look like a possible falling knife, maybe a waterfall pattern, some of those things you might like to research. But you know, it kind of makes me wonder, will that 76 that I see on your screen right there come in? Was that the high for your next fifth cycle, or was there a possible little bit higher than 76? Because I was seeing 75, 76 because of the connections to Skull and Bones, and 75 being connected to well, World War III.
Okay, yeah, I was not aware of that, but that's interesting.
I'll share that in a minute.
I got the 76 is actually exactly around the 398%, which is what the 5.2 predicted. I did give a range from, what did I do, 77,000 to 90,000.
Yeah.
For
And
possible.
I figured that was what, a blow off top range.
Yeah, kind of is like the anywhere we could see the cycle top for this cycle. I don't see, it's possible, but I don't see Bitcoin going above 100,000 this cycle. And you know, I know a lot of people think that that's coming, but to me, it's just it's too popular. And I believe that this next bull run cycle will be overtaken by utility. What we really want to see these cryptocurrencies with real utility, and we can get into that. I don't believe Bitcoin has any real utility.
Right.
But
yeah,
I believe
that was one of the questions I had for you. You said exactly that Bitcoin's not a store of value, that it can't lose 70% and be a store of value. I argue the same thing, okay? And you said that's not a utility.
Yeah.
So
It is a store of value, but the thing is, anything is a store of value. So that's
Right.
not really a good argument that it makes Bitcoin so special, because it what really depends is that thing a good store of value? Because I could invest in something at the top and that can store my value, but if that value loses, if it goes down, then that's not a good store of value. And I feel like that's most people's experience with Bitcoin, sadly. Um, like most retail investors, they're not trained to buy the fear and to invest when at the lows, when things are going down.
Right.
And so I don't think most people have an experience of Bitcoin being a good store of value. It seems as more of a risky store of value for people. And so what happens when you have an asset that actually has utility, right? It's based on the same technology as Bitcoin, but it's faster, it's cheaper, more secure network. What happens when you see that possibly overtake Bitcoin as the number one spot? And I'm
law of
talking,
equivalent exchange. I was speaking about that exchange.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't think people are really considering the shift in the mindset in the crypto space that will happen if that occurs.
Right.
And that's when I think we'll see this wave of utility, kind of people dropping whatever assets they were holding that were just built on around speculation for these assets that have utility and are being used to usher in this new age, this new financial system.
Correct. And this is I use Light Water's numerology gematria. I've used it for many years. Shout out to people like Zachary Hubbard, who's obviously a legend in it. Don't have the same beliefs per se, but I believe it matters. The code. Tommy Truthful, Donut Factory, who's a decoder. But anybody that uses it, Logan from Decode Your Reality, but many of the people out here bursting open pineal glands with the irrefutable, undeniable connections that we make with these. But cryptocurrency giving us that 204 drop to zero, it's 24. In the 24 year, I could see a 75K tying us into World War III. I've been writing a book and decoding sports and showing how, sports are showing the start of World War III. So all that's on my website, and I write the blogs, I share it. But that 76 tying us into Skull and Bones. Well, when did this rally in Bitcoin really truly start? Well, we've been in a perpetual uptrend for, a little over a year now. At the start of the 2023 year, the 223 year. Okay, so tying us into Skull and Bones, obviously, coming out of that 15K low. Wherever it is.
That's a great connection.
But so I'm still trying to say everything comes back full circle, back to Skull and Bones. Possibly. So we'll see what happens. But that's why I use the 223, the 322 EMAs. It's not uncommon to swipe through these. It's been a long time since we've touched them on the daily. We tend not to hang out that long, but I think we've been, in an everything bubble, leading into a potential debt collapse and a liquidity crisis, leading into the next 9/11 and the start of World War III, I believe by June of next year, July of next year. I think the earliest we could see possible involvement would be Independence Day this year. And that's just simply because of the esoteric things that were released in this movie right here. This year, something we've decoded in my community. This movie is, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it's showing something that I've been using also to decode the markets, and to, just perceive reality that we're witnessing. And it's showing a very important event, a possible presidential batter change, and just a possible grid shutdown, like they're dealing with the aftermath of what they'll leave the world behind was showing us in that movie. So it's all very interesting this year, an election year, a leap year that we are in. We know we tend to see turmoil and chaos. So I've been just waiting to see, could this be leading into that May Day event where we head back to the 223, 322 EMAs around that 47, 46K range, because an event might happen to, number 46 leading into 47 is what I'm seeing. Now that we're past the halving, which is usually a bullish narrative shared on the mainstream media for, all the fanboys. But, we're investors that are sophisticated, or at least try to be here. That 5% of a successful trader, So we've been waiting to see if this is done, the fourth wave in this May Day event. I'm still waiting to see if we see some sort of chaos, some sort of turmoil in an election year. I think it's coming. So the earliest I see it is either now or leading into Independence Day, or 7/6, the 7/6 date. Do we see a 75, 76K Bitcoin coming out of this massive? Well, we fell below the bull pennant right now, in a falling wedge. Do we reach back up there for one more 75, 76K, maybe that 77 range like your math shows, before we dip down? I don't know. It's just been part of the analysis. But right now we're still heading down into May, possibly, into a May Day event.
I did see that movie, the Civil War.
Okay. Nice.
Man, like, I just left that theater just like, wow, like they actually made this movie. It was just so like eerie, I guess, that they would even make this movie. But yeah, definitely a lot of symbolism. And you said something that I want to bring up from your interview with Waters Above about this possible like presidential
batter change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you brought something up about a woman and the dragon.
Oh yeah, I got it right here. It's Revelations 12. That's the name of the chapter in the Bible.
Okay. And then Kamala Harris being a dragon, I guess, and so this is her year for success coming easy. Interesting enough, I'm also a dragon, but
1964, she was born in a dragon year. She is the 49th vice president. She was born in San Francisco. We just saw San Francisco in the Super Bowl. So my website, all my blogs show this. Well, actually I have to go to dailycandleclosnews.com real quick, but I'll pull up that blog real quick. It's breaking it down. I did a 200-hour Super Bowl blog, and I know a lot of people gave me credit for it, because it was a story. It's more than about a game. Yeah, she was born in the dragon year. She's the 49th vice president. The San Francisco 49ers were in the Super Bowl, and I think she has a chance in the dragon year to become the 47th president. It would tie to the beast. But yeah, it's all beast symbolism. Super Bowl, Owl Decoded, Part 3.
Yeah, that was just super interesting. That kind of stuck out to me that, could we see something happening where she becomes president? And what would that lead to for America, So yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Right. Yeah, it's a theory I've got, and obviously, again, up until this movie was created, like, it really had no validity. Like, it wasn't getting a lot of energy and prana, which is okay, because it's really just my perception. It's what the code tells me. But again, it's been in a lot of my work. It's in my book that I've been writing. Sports has been connected to it. I've connected the markets to these two, Kamala Harris and Sleepy Joe, but even the Super Bowl, it's all tied to the Brotherhood of Death and a potential presidential batter change. They did a article in the news last year, a few months ago now, and they asked what happens if a president dies while running for re-election. Like why are they putting this energy out there in the matrix to see?
Yeah.
Why is everything tied by the numbers scriptedly? Again, the Revelations 1:12. I turned around to see a voice that was speaking to me, and when I turned and saw 7 golden lampstands. But anyways, it all tied to Kamala Diva Harris becoming the Red Queen that things like Game of Thrones talks about. A possible event where we see maybe a designated survivor and both of them are removed, and we see a third term president, just like this movie talks about in one point in time throughout the movie. Remember when they're driving in the truck and Sammy talks about it? So it's just pretty unique and interesting how I was able to come out here, spend 200 hours, decode movies, decode sporting events on the world stage, and talk about the rise of a Red Queen, only to then see the next day after the game was won, Joe Biden come out and say, well, just like we drew it up with his little laser eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and what did we see in the Super Bowl? Every commercial that we saw almost had a Red Queen. She was the Red Queen, obviously. Taylor Swift. The torch was passed from Tom Brady to Mahomes. They showed you this during the game, okay? But I even connected the market laser eyes to this, and Joe Biden's laser eyes. But the Red Queen during the halftime show, who was on the red piano with the red cape, Queen Latifah, another queen figure. The Red Queen right here, Queen Bee, the Scarlet Woman, is what it represents, which is where your question ultimately resolves back to, is the Scarlet Woman, aka the woman who rode the beast in Revelations. And I believe that is Kamala Diva Harris, who's from San Francisco Bay, where the beast resides under the Golden Gate Bridges in the gateway to Tartarus. But all these commercials showing the Red Queen, like just Lady Gaga was there, this man and the Red Queen, but anyways, Mr. Red Queen himself. But it was just all fire symbolism, which is why we've seen so many Beltane rituals and fires this year, and which is another thing that I've tied to the markets recently leading into Beltane and the May Day event we would see in the markets with my April 15th decoded. And there's been nothing but fire rituals I've shared with the community. It's all Red Queen symbolism in the year of the dragon showing fire symbolism. But I did a past and a present decode of April 14th and 15th in the month of April right here. And then we started seeing fire rituals dating back to the past fire rituals. But anyways, it's all very unique. This is the only open blog I have on my website for any of you and your viewers that can go and read it right now to get a feel for my work. I'll probably forever leave it open. But this year, since 322 on Skull and Bones Day, again, everything tying back to Skull and Bones, we've started to see nothing but, well, the Moscow Concert Hall fire and explosion and firing squad that killed people there ritual. All as CERN started to crank back up again, leading into, well, the 4/8 eclipse, which, by the way, one of your videos that you did about that, you called for earthquakes that you mentioned would not be fun. I hope you don't know from experience. But you called for earthquakes around the 4/8 eclipse, and I know you weren't saying it would happen on that day, I don't think, but I knew what you meant. And since then we've seen multiple earthquakes since that eclipse. And but yeah, there's just a ton of fire rituals I have logged in this blog, and eventually I'll go and add the ones that we've been keeping up with in the Pioneer Academy private Discord. There's been nothing but, this was a 5-alarm fire yesterday on the end of Beltane. Mayday, 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 the biggest fire ritual we've seen this year, besides, well, probably this one, the day before on the Harry Potter castle. This was a pretty big one, tied to the 81 days since the start of the dragon year. It was all tied to the number 81. Harry Potter's castle burns 81. Harry Potter's castle 81. It's pretty unique, but a great way to end the 40 days of Beltane is what I teach, and it led right into a May 1st May Day dump in the markets too. Just a firing red sale, so it's pretty unique.
Wow. Yeah, that's very interesting. I think like the first earthquake happened the day after I posted that video, so
Yeah.
that was very interesting. But I got to check out your website, dude. There's some awesome stuff on there. I really like that
Thank you.
art you did.
Thank you. I spent a lot of time on it. Sometimes not so much. Like recently with some NBA blogs and stuff. I mean, there could have been 107 games played in the NBA or something like that if every game went to a game 7. And I wasn't going to spend that time. I had the Waters Above interview. I had to go on vacation. I had to work. I got a son by myself. I'm raising single father. So I picked first round winners. But you know, I kind of dabble in sports. You know, I'm kind of like, I don't know, my record, if I had to go and look in my notes real quick, if that mattered, because apparently, you know, all people want is winners. But I mean, I got a decent record in sports betting using this, 93-47. I got a lot of those losses through March Madness. I mean, it's madness there in March. Some of those blogs were 5 minutes, and I got some in the NBA playoffs now because I just pick first round winners. You know, so I mean, I take them as they come, but still 93-47, I ain't complaining. But I like to just keep the people entertained, man. I like to show them that you can use this code for anything, become the master of your reality, to understand what it is we're seeing on the world stage at any point in time, no matter what it is. Now, we can't do it with everything, because I don't think some things matter. You know what I'm saying? Like if Joe Blow is out there putting out some nonsense, I don't think we need to use it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there needs to be some grounding, an origin, some definition and base in your decode for certain.
Yeah, that's awesome that you can use it to I guess you make money off sports betting. That's awesome. I am completely removed from the world of sports.
Yeah, I don't like to watch them no more. Since my dad passed away, I don't really care about them no more. I just use them. I just use them for that now.
Yeah, but as long as you can, you know, do something positive with that, that is awesome, dude. And it seems like you're definitely putting in the work, and I respect that for sure.
Right. That, and I've been keeping up with them this past year or so to write this book. I'm 10 chapters in. Game of Nations, unveiling the parallels between sports and the precursors to World War III. So it's really the only reason why I'm writing it. Ever since the 119th anniversary of, say, the game between Ohio State and Michigan was coming up, I knew that. And then, well, the World Series, the 119th World Series that the Texas Rangers won, all showing war symbolism. Like, I had to start writing it then. So, you know, it's an ongoing process, and a lot of these blogs will eventually be added to chapters in the book. So, you know, it's
Cool.
just
I'll
gonna
have
take
to check
time.
that
You
out.
know, I'm working on becoming a published author. You know, that's the goal.
Awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to get your opinion on some of this Fibonacci stuff. If you're cool to go back into some charting.
Yeah. Let me pull up this fib.
Yeah, I see you use the Fib Circle tool on trading, and I've just kind of messed around with it, but I really don't know how to use that. So I would love to hear your understanding of how that tool works and how you use it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I've learned everything on my own. I've bought courses before, and I've spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to teach myself to trade. The Realist Trader was probably the first person that I followed right here on YouTube that taught me the Fibonacci sequence and spiral with the circles, the Fib circles. I'd seen it on a few charts and thought it looked pretty cool. Basically, you know, I thought it was interesting. The Fibonacci being, well, everything in life has a Fibonacci sequence, and
yes, I see that as like the code of creation, you know,
Right.
and so that's such an important thing and I use that in my work as well. I think the normal fib retracement tool is a great tool for use to getting your levels, you know, your price levels, but it seems like from what I've seen from your work is that you can use the Fib Circles tool to get your time levels, and I think you use the phrase trading in time.
Exactly.
And so I'd love to explore that aspect of it.
Yeah, and it's basically it still all boils down to mathematics and everything in life having a Fibonacci. So this chart, it has its own Fibonacci as well, and all kinds fib channels, fib extensions, fib retracements, fib circles. So I just explored, and this has probably been my greatest opportunity to explore with this tool. And I personally have to not only shout out the realist trader, I have to give a shout out to Nexus Blade Runner on Twitter and Scrub Anon, or Duke Doobie, that's his name. Because what they taught me about this that nobody else would tell you about it was you're learning to trade the liquidity in time. So I named this chart the ripples in time, or fibs on fibs on fibs. Okay, so I've got the fib extension, and I know that the 69K high was the top, but to me it was an anomaly. It was something we had never seen. I go to the laser eyes, the Elon Musk and Cynthia Loomis battle between Bitcoin and crypto when he started accepting it in his balance sheets for Tesla and the Saturday Night Live Dogecoin scandal. Like, I treat this as what I call the institutional top, so I pull my fib extension high from there to my 15K low, and that gives me an upside target of a 1.618 one day that could be easily reached at $156,000 before potentially rolling over, because again, 9/11 is the 156 prime number in mathematics. Okay, so tying into the 1618 golden ratio of phi, that could send us back down if we achieve it one day. So I left that. I thought it was good and pretty interesting, and it seems to hold held value right here at the 38 to 42K resistance range that we saw for this golden pocket, or the 786 touch that we got at 47K at the 786. I then drew a fib channel that went all the way down to my low, correct? Yeah. I guess it came all the way down to my low. At one point I thought it was all the way down to my low. Just want to make sure. Let me see what it looked like before. I don't want to change it. Yeah, I'll leave it where it was. But I pulled it down into this area, so I went from basically institutional high to low. Yeah, I just want to make sure I didn't go to this low back here before the September rally. And then I drew a fib circle like you were asking about. So it gives me the same things: my 1.618, my 2618, my 3618, 4.236, and also a 4.618 that we've exceeded to and touched at the 382 of the fib channel as well. So I just used it to get time to basically figure out where overhead resistance and horizontal trading ranges of support and resistance could be. And that's what I'm looking at now, is we could see support possibly at the 888 at 55, 54. Maybe we get a wick in the 50, 1K with this fib circle here at the 3618, at the 223, 322, 200 EMA, at the 618 golden pocket of the fib channel. Okay, and that would be somewhere between mid-May up until May 19th, leading into a possible mid-May rally coming out of that. Who knows? At least a bounce possibly before possibly June and July lows, like the history of Bitcoin shows. But this was probably my favorite fibs on fibs on fibs, or what I called ripples in time chart. And I've got a few more, like this one right here. I dedicated it to the interview with Waters Above. I drew a bull pennant, you know what I'm saying? I had the possibility for what I call a scissors play, a possibility for a fallen wedge right here as well into some of these 4.236 or 4.618 fib circles leading into April, mid-April, around the end of cherry blossom season, and the April 15th possible event. And we got lows around that time period. I wasn't surprised to see a sell-off mid-April and into these ranges. It's what time was showing me, getting rejected from the 1618 fib channel. And again, I went from high to low right here.
Wow, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I pulled my circle from high to low right here. I went from this high to this low. I didn't go any further, and that's what gave me this opportunity to. I was either going to go up, and I told my pioneers, if we get here and this everything bubble continues to range up here, well, this is going to top us out. Okay, at all these fib channels, one of these we would meet resistance, and it was probably going to be 103K, to be honest. If we would have kept bullish, but we haven't. We started pulling back. Well, I've been teaching for a pullback since October. We just ain't got it. We've been in a short squeeze. I came out once I realized what was going on and decoded another movie called Dumb Money.
Great movie.
Yeah, got me kicked off of YouTube for 90 days because I was sharing the short squeeze in Bitcoin that happened on 11/7, Bitcoin equaling 117 in numerology. And we've squeezed up since November of last year. Okay. So yeah, way back here. But yeah, it's right around this November 7th time period. That started the short squeeze right here in this low. That movie came out on this day. And that night after the movie, I was on YouTube breaking it down, decoding it, asking my pioneers, are we about to see a short squeeze for Bitcoin? And that's what led to the prolonged breakout of 38K. This was where the short squeeze really happened, in this rising wedge right here that broke out parabolically. A rising wedge, if it breaks out to the upside, which only has a 32% chance in math to do so, you better get ready to hold your horses. And that's what we've seen. So, you know, that's why I call myself the Master Chief, John 117. Again, I was born on April 26th, so my birthday in a leap year was just the other day, the 117th day of the year in a leap year. So every 4 years I'm that 117. So very unique, and I think I'm the only one to call that short squeeze from November 7th on Bitcoin. But that was using decode. But now where are we at? We're hitting the 2618 fib channel and possibly about to fall to that 47K if we see one more leg lower, like the TA that we've been doing here since, well, Pi Day, in this rising wedge that we taught, that could send us to 51K. That's the measured move. Well, we got one more move of the fifth inside of the fifth wave of the ABC corrective pattern after our impulsive wave to the upside before we start a possible another, well, impulsive wave. Forget this cup and handle, but there should be a already drawn out impulsive wave. I just got to find it. But I'm looking for a possible rejection at 70, 62, 63,000. Maybe we push up into 64. The institutional high that I was teaching you about, remember? That we pulled our fib extension from.
Yeah.
If we get rejected with a push up to this range, we can come right back down for one more low. 47, 49K. The 786. Shout out to the 78 Skeets, a fellow coach and trader of mine at the dailycandleclosenews.com, Traderholics and Fibonaccics course class and group that we have twice a week. So she loves that range. She teaches us some amazing trades that are almost 0% risk, like 99% almost. Guaranteed to print money like the Federal Reserve. She's an amazing trader, and she does everything on the iPad, brother. She don't have a computer, nothing. All iPad. Like it's remarkable. But yeah, any other questions about that fib circle? Basically, I said, I'm trading liquidity and time. Shout out Duke Doobie and crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it looks like when it gets to that outer ring there, what is that, the 4 or 6.18 or
4.618?
The 4. Okay, yeah. So is that kind of where it usually does something when it gets to the outer ring, or
yeah,
it has a chance of doing something.
Yeah, most definitely at any level it has a chance of doing something. Or we're gonna expect to be at a certain price by this time. So like, say for instance, when we first got to the golden ratio of phi right back here around, well, March 25th, what had just happened? Well, astrological new year, and all that had just happened around this time period that gave us a nice rise up in the markets, correct? Well, we rode that, got rejection to the 21 and lost it, but gained support at the 786 fib channel. Okay, or maybe a 55 EMA or something, But we bounced up right before we lost the 21 EMA into around that March 27th time period. So we could have expected to de-risk trades right here at a push up into 71,600 around March 27th. And look what we did on the same exact day. By using these, we saw volatility as we entered the ring. You call it the ring of fire because we sold straight down right here. But what happened as we transitioned through this, we played with support and resistance on the Fib 786 channel before dropping with volatility into, well, the 2.618 Fib ring before bouncing into it, trading sideways with a higher low, and then bouncing right back up to our 0.1 Fib, and then eventually touching it, and then coming right back down to the 3.618 Fib ring. So,
wow, and it touched it perfectly on those 3 little wicks there. That's amazing.
Yeah, and when we add things like, shout out to Waters Above, but when we add the Encyclico's moon pattern that I like to use, that shows our equinoxes and everything.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about that moon indicator that you use. It looks
yeah.
cool.
I don't use it a lot anymore, hopefully, because it's become evident. But when you see the half moons, and I need to get the full moons and new moons in here so I can understand them better. But full moon, red. New moon, green. First moon, we'll do that. And we'll do purple. But yeah, so what could we expect right here? Alright, well, I mean, according to the moon pattern, if this isn't a new moon and a first moon, if this is a waning moon, what can I expect the charts to do right here before heading into the new moon? You know what I'm saying? So this is another tool I use in the background on top of these to give me more confluence. But from the new moon to the full moon, through all these Fib channels, right into the waning moon before a new moon, and then we have our first moon right here, or crescent, or quarter moon, whatever you want to call it, before getting the rollover to where we are now at the that's the 2.36. No, it's not. It's the 2618 Fib channel that we could get rejected off of now, that ultimately heads us back down into the 3.618 or the 4.236 Fib channel. Now I'll eventually I'll go from either this high or this low. When I get my low in and it's in, we can draw a new Fib circle, and now we can trade more liquidity and time moving forward. But we just got to let the charts play out. And this was the only other one I had on the Fib circles. But they've all been, well, what we call here wop bop bangers.
Yeah.
Bangers at the Banger Central, Pioneer Academy and University. But this shows a long-term Wyckoff accumulation. Shout out to Waters Above for that, who teaches that. He calls it the market compass. So, but it was another macro. I centered all my liquidity in the ripples of time in the Fib circle around the Shemitah and the 7-year cycle. So I wanted to make sure that most of my trading range happened right here in this channel. So what it did was allowed me to extend all the way up into right here. What happened right here at the 4.618 Fib circle? Well, the first ever American Bitcoin ETF as we transitioned past it. So we didn't see a Bitcoin ETF until we transitioned past January 3rd on that date. And then it hit on the 111 date, all tied to 9/11, all tied to Bitcoin's high back here on 11/10, 111. It was all very scripted, but it didn't happen until we passed this time zone, this period of time,
That's super interesting. Yeah, it seems like kind of how the normal Fibonacci tool can give you these levels based on like the Fibonacci level is essentially the code of nature,
right.
And that shows up in human emotion as well.
Right. This
And that's what I believe runs these markets is human emotion. And there's a lot of things that have an impact on human emotion, including astrology. So I do believe that astrology is an important factor. But really, I think it's human emotion that is running these markets. And so if we can use these fib tools to kind of gaze into the code of human emotion, which I believe the Fibonacci sequence shows up in, well, it's just another tool we can add to our arsenal to trade these markets. So I appreciate you showing me that, man.
Not a problem. I don't. You're in the Discord now. Anytime you need to reach out, we can, draw on your chart and figure it out together. If you have questions. But you brought up emotions, and it's funny because I already had out prices change, fundamentals change, human emotions never change. Neither should our investment thesis. What I mean by that is these markets are ran, like you said, on human emotions. The Wall Street cheat sheet. For anybody that's unfamiliar with it, we'll pull it up real quick. But you see how fast I pulled it up. But the Wall Street cheat sheet. These markets run on human emotions, and that's never going to change. It hasn't changed in the hundreds and thousands of years that we've dealt with monetary movement and things like that. So, our investment thesis should never change, and that's why I always said in the beginning of the video, I'm definitely different. There's not another person like me. I don't follow the rules, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that, well, I'm betting against myself if I do. I'm not going to follow human emotions, which could get me wrecked. Could be fun in the optimism, hope, thrill, euphoria phase, but if I'm not a sophisticated trader and somebody that's, well, my own master of my reality like yourself, sir, well, then I'm gonna end up in that anger and complacency and denial, panic, disbelief phase all over again. I don't need help. I can do bad all on my own, I've been broke, you know what I'm saying? That ain't nothing new to me. Like, I don't need help in these areas, So I just, I try to make sure I bring something new to the table every single day, and hopefully that's what my TA has allowed me to do with my decoding. Simply sell in May and walk away. We knew to do that on Pi Day at 73K. Well, some charts hit a 74K. Not many, it was one or two. If you were trading on that exchange, guess what? If you had limit orders set, cha-ching, cha-ching. Blogs I wrote about showed this, and it's just been a beautiful journey using this code, like you said, becoming my own leader, not following anybody else, but taking that, experience, turning it into, well, the processing and the action that led to the programming that led to my environment, or vice versa. I forget how you said it, but I did those 3 steps right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
I forget. I have to look at your.
Yeah, it's kind of easy to forget, right?
Well, only because I've only listened to it once, and now I've only seen this once. But your experience, environment, and programming. So I said it a little bit different. I got these two mixed up, it looks like. But yeah, that's definitely been a major understanding, upperstanding for me is working this process. And I've been wrong, man. I'm not always right. I make mistakes. I don't edit them.
Yeah, so do I. And but it is important to have your own methods and stuff because like kind of what you were saying, that at the end of the day the herd gets slaughtered, the herd gets led to the slaughterhouse. Right. So you got to be able to to look past the emotions, and that is what enables you to trade this market, when you're able to rise above the emotions of what drives this market. That's really what it's about. Correct.
Your analysis, man, I spoke to you earlier before the show. I don't think I mentioned it since we recorded, but your XRP analysis, man, you're the only other guy out here, only person I see that could possibly, hypothetically see the makings of a 31 cent XRP. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that, and how were you seeing this? Why were you seeing this? I've got a fib circle chart right here on XRP that shows us leading into mid-May, Mayday, that we could be at the 4.618 at a 31 to 27-cent XRP at the lowest. I think that's where a wick would come in. Ripple equals 27 in numerology. So like that would be the only thing that makes sense to me. But it's again trading liquidity and time. So definitely want to get your thoughts on that.
So I pulled a normal fib from the last, I believe it was it's a reverse fib from after the SEC news. We had that sell off and then up to that next high.
Okay. Let's see if I can get a clean XRP chart too. That way, we can give everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was kind of thinking, like, is it possible if we could have more downside? Kind of like what XRP did in 2016, 2017, right before it had its last huge move. It actually had a big sell-off to, I believe it was like 0.0003 or 0.00003, something like that. But it was
2017 cycle right here. Oh, it's not showing it. Yeah, this wick.
Yeah. And that wick went down to 3, however many zeros there were.
Triple 3 zeros. So 0.0000203, something like that.
Yeah. And well, anyway, so I pulled this reverse fib, and the 1.618 to the downside target was right in alignment with where our last support range is. And it's around 30 to 33 cents. I believe it's actually, brother, if you want, you might want to go into the daily chart.
Okay.
And then it's right after we had the bullish SEC XRP is not a security news, that pump, and then we dumped.
That one. I thought you meant the lawsuit. So we got to go over here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's more
It was
recent.
June, right?
Yeah. Right
July.
after that huge pump, we had a big sell-off, so I pulled it from that low,
right there,
and then up to the next high. I believe that's where I pulled it from. And then that should bring our 1.618 to the downside, right around that previous support area. Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that. You got a 31 cent, and I got a horizontal trading range that's been there for 2 years, and that's why I wanted to bring this up, because during the 2022 lows that I was teaching for XRP to buy at 32 cents heading into the 223, you're all tied to skull and bones, you guys. That's been my C wave and potential target for the 5th wave down if Bitcoin still continues one leg lower. And that's why I really wanted to bring that up, because I did a hypothetical, like, what if we, back in December, I was like, what if, we see the same thing that happened after the SEC lawsuit, and it's dumpy to dump, and like, oh, you can't, we go, all this, nobody wants to, benefit of the doubt, like, we can see these things, they just believe up, 589 overnight, 10,000, it's like, I understand, but like, I believe in the asset. I'm 50% of my portfolio invested in it since 2019. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I've made money.
Wow, you're a G.
Well, I mean, I did call myself Mr. XR Billionaire for a reason. Thank you for shouting out my beginnings on Facebook for that and understanding where I come from. Been doing this for almost 5 years now. Just for 2 of them, it was scripted riddle post and, holding my phone to record.
It takes real patience to be in XRP, especially if you've been in it that long, because once you learn about the fundamentals, it's like, oh my God, this is inevitable. This thing's going to that's kind of how I saw it when I first learned about it. But
what's that?
Here we are.
That Ripple video? Ripple? Yeah. Who does it? Ripple? That gets stuck in my head.
The shout out to notfinancialadvice.crypto, man.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
But yeah, here we are in 2024 with the sub 50 cent XRP. I never thought we'd be here, but I'm grateful for every day we get that XRP is still under $1, because that's just an opportunity to get more.
No doubt, because we could definitely be setting this ABC. we could call it all done. The C wave be done. We could see a higher low W pattern breakout and just
For sure.
the bubble continue. What it is ultimately reminding me of this scenario right here in the crypto market right now, brother. The US ETF, again, that didn't happen until after we got past the 4.618 fib circle. We hit 49K and sold straight down right after the 49ers had won the Super, right before the 49ers were going to the Super Bowl. So we didn't get past that resistance until they lost the Super Bowl. Okay, so pretty unique. But what it was look at this. We retraced to the 382, and where are we at right now? Getting a bounce off the 382 after the Hong Kong ETF. Like, are we just about to see this continue until we see all these ETFs done? And, well, I don't know. Like, something I'm bringing up, questioning this hypothetical. It's under construction. Just a suggestion, you guys. But yeah. If Bitcoin was to continue to rally here, we might not get no more lows for XRP or these other cryptos. Unless, my next question, maybe, your thoughts on, the ETH gate. Okay? Ooh. I gotta behave. But your thoughts on maybe altcoins not going into altcoin season, because we have not seen true price discovery for Bitcoin yet. We barely made a higher high, you guys. Okay? But altcoins, they've done some things. They gave us a little love, but your thoughts on ETH and a potential maybe black swan event, or Lehman Brothers 2.0 with Ethereum, and a majority of these cryptos 2.4 million in the 24 year. Crazy, because a few years ago in 2020 there was like 2,200. Okay, and it's like the 22, and then there's like 23,000 in 2023, and I thought that was odd. And then here we are at 2.4 million into the 24 year. It's like something's got to give. If things don't start picking up around here, I'm gonna start picking up things, brother.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that, and I'd like to kind of separate the market into this idea that we have a fraudulent market and then a real market that has not yet emerged yet.
Brilliant, because what that reminds me of? Sorry to cut you off there, but 1971 Nixon shock, and I teach this and have been teaching it for over many years, that we were under a parallel economy. We had two different monetary systems running at the same time: the petrodollar that was being made for the people to use, and the old gold-backed system that we were on that this fuck ended. So go ahead.
Yeah, wow, I didn't know that they were running those at the same time.
Because there wasn't social media to share it with you back then.
So I kind of view the current market that we still see today as fraudulent. And what I mean by that is that, this market is driven, this current market that we have is driven by falsities. And, one of the biggest ones is that Bitcoin and Ethereum got this false regulatory clarity from Bill Hinman in 2018, I believe he gave the speech.
I believe so. It was around that time frame, yeah.
17
or 18, I believe.
Yeah, and that was right after XRP had its massive run, around like, what was it, like 300,000%, or 100,000, 20, some big run. We all know what that was, but that was right after this, and so that to me was kind of the moment that they said, "Oh, dang! Like, we're not ready yet. We got to slow this thing down." And so they kind of created this distraction. They amplified the distraction, and
correct.
That's just kind of how I see it. But this speech, this Hinman speech that the former, I guess, chairman at SEC, Bill Hinman, gave, saying that Bitcoin and Ethereum were the only two digital assets they see as being not securities. Obviously, I believe that is the reason why we have those two at the number one and number two today. I think if he didn't give that speech and there was less corruption within our regulators, we might see a totally different market today.
Correct.
But I do think that this market is kind of fraudulent, and I do believe we are witnessing the final moments of this fraudulent market. And it's so interesting because what's done in darkness always comes to light, bro.
Yes.
Like that's some truth. And I
That's
think
universal law.
yes, I think we're starting to see some of that darkness come out in this whole Ethereum thing.
Correct.
I'm not like I haven't been paying super close attention to
Me
it, but I
neither.
know it's been going around lately.
Yeah.
And more stuff has been coming out. We got our whistleblower Steven Narioff, who was in the early days of Ethereum. He actually created the idea to classify ETH as like a utility token.
Correct.
He was the only one who didn't accept any Ethereum. So it just shows you like the guy who created this idea to kind of create this fourth prong or this extra prong of the Howey test to not have Ethereum as a security. He didn't want to take any Ethereum, and I know there's a lot more to his story.
Correct.
And I don't know that individual, but it's just so interesting what all we see coming out right now, and I think it's very possible that this could continue to unfold and come onto the crypto stage, and interesting enough, we just heard that Ripple is launching their stable coin that will be pegged 1-to-1 to the dollar, and they're doing it on XRP, the XRP ledger, but also Ethereum.
Wow.
And I found that so interesting. I was like, why are y'all doing it on Ethereum? That's like your biggest competitor in a way.
Me too. This is my first hearing it. I've always viewed XRP as a stable coin. So
Okay,
that's
yeah.
unique.
No, but yeah, so they are doing a pegged to $1 stable coin that will be and hopefully Ripple will be much more transparent about things than other like Tether has been.
Right.
I'm sure you're familiar with how shady that thing is.
Yeah, it's
but-
the Federal Reserve Digital.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that goes also into this fraudulent market. Has been manipulating it and possibly even suppressing XRP, but we won't get into that.
Not today.
What I want to talk about is this stable coin, this Ripple stable coin is, I believe Brad and David and Ripple, when they announced this, they all mentioned bridge in all their posts on Twitter. They mentioned this bridge, and so there's an auto bridging feature on the XRP ledger, and so I haven't confirmed this yet, but my theory is that could this Ripple stablecoin provide a bridge for people to exit Ethereum over to XRP for a way for them to not pay the ridiculous gas fees that we see on Ethereum, and then somehow cheaply convert their Ethereum to XRP, if that was something that they wanted to do, given this news coming out about ETHgate, this corruption that is being unveiled. So could we see a mass Ethereum exodus? And I'm going to make a video on this idea coming soon. But yeah, so I think those are just some things to consider. I think it also has to do a lot with if we are actually in the beginning stages of a liquidity crisis, a debt crisis.
Correct.
And if we are, then yeah, I think the top could very well be in for Bitcoin and Ethereum and a lot of these other projects that have had their time as in the spotlight. And out of that collapse, that's kind of where I see XRP going as low as 30 and maybe high 20s cent range, 33 cent range area. Out of that though, we could see this is just such a complicated puzzle that has a lot of pieces to put together, so it's kind of hard to explain it all in one sentence, but we could see this transition, this flood of money out of the speculative market that has been driven by debt and easy money into commodities, real assets that include cryptocurrencies with real utility. That's the important thing. It has to solve a problem, and so I think might be in the beginning stages of this. We'll just have to stay tuned, see how this unfolds. But I know Japan. Not sure if you're aware of this, brother, but I know Japan is like could be one of the first dominoes to fall, and I think there's some developments going on there right now with their central banking system.
Yeah, they've recently mentioned with their banking system that they're going to be using XRP. By 2025. So,
and this has to do a lot with the treasury market, the U.S.
Correct.
Treasury market. I know Japan is one of the largest holders of U.S. treasuries. They hold more U.S. treasuries than their own.
Correct.
And
they've been buying bonds.
Right, and the dollar. Most dollars are held overseas in these Nostro Vostro accounts, and so if the dollar is no longer the world reserve currency, and it already is losing its status as we speak as this world reserve currency, well, that gives the opportunity now for other countries to develop their own commodity, precious metal backed currencies and create their own digital currencies that get off this dependency on the dollar. And then you could use something like XRP to be the neutral bridge currency, for being this kind of world bridge currency between all these new currencies, moving from a unipolar world, currency world with just the dollar, serving as the bridge to this multipolar currency world where you have all these different currencies, and the recipient of transactions is able to receive any currency that they want, and the payer, in the transaction is able to pay with whatever currency they want because of this new level of interoperability that we have because of this blockchain technology. So that's kind of where I see all this going. I know I went all over the place there, but hopefully that's some value to people listening.
No doubt. I mean, because it is what you see on the screen ultimately, like you were saying. I think it's what they told us, the bridge currency, bridge 117, just like Bitcoin 117. Well, Ripple coin gives you the same 17, and they tell you it's the bridge currency, that on-demand liquidity 117. So, I definitely ultimately think it has its purpose, and there's so many avenues we can debate and go down on, and view that law of equivalent exchange where XRP replaces Bitcoin or whatever nonsense. I don't care. I'm cool if it does, because guess what, I hold it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I know how to trade it more importantly, and that's the thing. I just definitely think it's tied to something very big. This year is the year that I've expected for some sort of exuberant price action to come out of the XRP price, but is it going to come after more downside, more shaking out of the weak hands, which this thing loves to do?
Yep.
I'm not going to sit here and wait. 52, 46 cents recently, I've been behind. I've shared with my pioneers, I've been dollar cost averaging in up to the thousands of dollars, because that's easy in my eyes. If I've held for years, so I don't have a problem holding until it breaks new all-time highs again. So that 1,000 can then turn 2,000 plus shares of XRP, and that one purchase alone into potentially upwards of $6,000 to $10,000. And it's like, it's just that easy to make money. It's hard to be patient, right? But
yeah, that actually brings up one thing I wanted to mention on the thumbnail that I made for this video. I used that wheel, the zodiac wheel.
Correct.
And I used that one because I saw on it the current. This actually depicts the calendar correctly. And Waters Above taught me this, where April, should really be the first month of the year. And we move forward, but you can see here, so we're in May right now, which Taurus, the bull, is the zodiac sign for that there. Oh, cool. But if you zoom in there, I don't know if you can, if the people can see.
I can't zoom in no more, but yeah.
Okay, well, it's the bottom left corner, the bull right here. Yeah, and that word there is acquisition.
Okay, yeah, acquisition.
And so I just thought that was interesting because a lot of us, have been buying, me included, during these pullbacks that we've had. And so now it's kind of like the acquisition time.
Yeah, the
It
accumulation
goes
time. Yeah.
right back into this, mayday, mayday, mayday,
Mayday, mayday. Yeah.
and a continuation for higher targets later on this year, I think.
I definitely believe in that, unless we see some sort of, well, unless we see this, what we were talking about earlier, was the potential in some sort of, I mean, we're talking about possibly the biggest election year, leap year, event that we've seen, secession of government, things like that, a deposition of government, something. I mean, this movie was showing what looked like martial law. So it's pretty interesting. I think everything has a meaning. It's just, again, I think it's universal law. I think it's, what am I supposed to learn from this? Like we were talking about before the show. Everything happens to us. Everything happens in our reality, or whatever you believe. But personally, I believe that the trials and tribulations that I have in my life, I placed there. Whether it was through a subconscious mind and, a manifestation with a negative mindset or something, those limiting beliefs, or, it was just something that simply came out of the blue, but still, I had to either hurdle it or become the victim of it. And I ain't gonna let that happen. But what I'm getting at is, I think this is a very interesting time period we live in today. The greatest time to be alive if you're a master of your reality, a pioneer, and a werewolf, a divergent and glitch in this matrix right now.
That was beautifully said, yeah. And we do attract, our energy, our frequency attracts the events that happen to us in life, and we get exactly what we need, what we deserve, I guess. And that's a big part of it. But I was wondering if we could actually wrap this up with maybe a look at a cryptocurrency. I'm not sure if you're familiar with XVG, Verge.
I'm not, but I don't mind at all. I go.
Okay.
I'm the only crypto XVG.
Yeah, XVG, Verge. And
the Binance
this is
chart, the Bitfinex. Let's see which one's got the most data.
Oh, and actually, I'm sorry, brother. You're gonna have to go to the what is that other charting website that has full chart data? Coin Trader Pro or something.
Coin Trader Pro. Yeah, I've never used it. I can go there.
I don't believe the full chart data is available on TradingView, and this is one where we're gonna need all the chart data because this might be the biggest gainer percentage-wise that I've ever seen. I'm not aware of any other, even XRP, that has outperformed this project in 2017. Go to the Coin Market Cap one.
Okay.
I'm sorry. On that Coin Trader Pro, there should be another Verge chart that pulls data from Coin Market Cap instead of Coin Paprika.
Oh, okay. How do I change it now?
Just type in XVG up there. Oh, whoops.
Right there.
Yeah. Just hold up there. Type in XVG. And then down there, coin. Yeah, right there.
Okay,
So,
and it pulled it up. Oh, good God.
Here we go. So it has a very similar chart to XRP, as you can see, with the high coming in 2017, and then a lower high coming in that 2021 bull run.
Yeah.
And if we could maybe turn on log scale, you'll get an idea of what this thing actually did. And so this will probably blow your mind, but if you measure the percentage gain from that low in 2017 to its high, that big run that it had, you're gonna see like 1,000,000% gain. And I have never seen almost like a 3,000,000% gain. Crazy.
Good God.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
not
see that again.
I'm not aware of any other chart that has done a crazy gain like this.
No.
Now, some interesting stuff about this project. It's a proof of work consensus mechanism, but it's actually very fast. Transactions are, around 10 seconds. So that's pretty fast for proof of work. It's also going to be the first proof of work coin to reach 100% circulating supply, I believe maybe in June. All the coins will be mined. And so, you know, for like Bitcoin, another
so
proof.
it's on the mining protocol.
Yeah. So like Bitcoin, the coins, all 21 million won't be mined until like 2140, I believe. So this is going to be different in the fact that 100% of the supply will be mined pretty soon. So that should, you know, that's a good thing. Another interesting thing, this is an ISO 222 certified blockchain. It's one of the more unknown ones, but they do have ISO 222 compliance, which is, as probably everyone watching this video knows, is the standard for financial institutions, the communication standard for them talking to each other and sending messages with value. So that's an important thing. And it's a privacy coin, which I find very interesting considering it's ISO. But yeah, it uses the Tor private VPN browser on the mobile wallet, so it masks your IP location. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to
You might be
lay
giving
down
a banger right here.
It might be a banger.
A 004, I mean, $400, $500 for 100,000 tokens long term. If it is gonna see a price rise right now from where we're at, if we're in the LPS SOS backup phases, we could be heading up to around a 26 cent, 23, 22, 223 cent at the 702, 786 golden pocket range. I mean, that could be a 4,291% move.
That's crazy.
Surpass our automatic rally buying climax, selling climax, automatic rally spring, because we went slightly lower than our return to low. If we do go lower, then I'd say this would be the spring, but I argue that the first impulsive LPS 1, 2, we're working on the 3, maybe this is a 4 before we get our 5th wave, and then we'll have the sub counts of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive wave up. We can see how that plays out. But this could be the start of your backup phase or your markup phase before, you know, your LPS and SOS. But either way, it's looking like support's being held, like we're stair stepping towards this 702 and a new slightly high double top right here before we break into a new all-time high. You know, so a move to $1, if this was going to see $1 one day, which is feasible, you know, from where we're at, half a penny to $1, not uncommon. But we can reach out to the 4.236 right here at a 26,000% plus or minus move at $1.25. You know,
I'd be cool with that.
$1.22. Yeah, I'd be cool with that. It's the 123rd day of the year. I'd be really cool with $1.23. Verge might be a wop banger. That Master just gave us. I'll definitely keep it on my eye, and the tokenomics, the background of it seemed very interesting. The fact that 100% of the coins will be mined before the 100% of Bitcoin's coins, which again, like you mentioned, 2140. That's a long time. I'm gonna be gone by then. Okay, you guys. I ain't hanging out with y'all in the metaverse for that long. Alright, I ain't gonna be there. I'm gonna be with the birds and bees and the leaves and trees. Alright, so that's just me. But yeah, I can definitely see us getting a new high than the 2021 high, potentially this cycle, in that 4,000% move up to the 24 cent range in the 2024 year, and the 702, 786 of the golden pocket. You know, I'd be looking for that 223 and 24 cent ranges to de-risk if I got into this. But yeah, what's the RSI look like? I haven't looked at none of that in any indicators, but dang, we might have to.
I just love how it has that history. You know, it goes back to 2015, so it's been in it for a while, and it's just that move. God, I've never seen anything like that. Almost 3 million% move.
Right. Yeah, I ain't neither. Bitcoin was very similar of a move, but
it took Bitcoin some time. You know, it took Bitcoin many years to reach millions of percent, whereas This thing did it under a year.
Right. 004,268. Maybe we could fall there to the 1618, and that be low. I don't know. I don't want to call that. That looks really weird for some reason on them. Oh, wanna know why? Because my fibs aren't set to log scale.
Oh
Let's
yeah, there
do
you
that.
go.
Let's do
That's
that.
great.
I was about to say, like, what is
You're getting a
going on
negative
here?
number.
Yeah, I could see a double bottom or a slightly lower low,
That would make
0033.
sense.
If we were gonna reset this daily RSI, I could see another dump down for it. We do look like we're in a falling knife pattern right here. Recently, kind of left shoulder head, right shoulder vibe right here, possibly if we want to pattern draw. But long term, I definitely put a little bit of venture capital play into it myself with everything you explained around it. And if we can hold this horizontal trading range right here of 004576, I wouldn't be too worried. It's when we start dropping below that to start with, and then if we, I know you can't see that, but that's crazy. Let's make that black, make that, boom, see, nice support there on the daily. And then if we lose that, I'm gonna want to hold this support right here, 0036. We lose that, I'm gonna expect to come down here and test this double bottom we got before this rally started. But honestly, swiping below this should reset the RSI and give us enough opportunity to possibly get in and before we move back up. We are in a fallen wedge right now, so that's pretty bullish. 68% of the time we break out, and this is oversold dramatically, to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on the 5th wave down, so we could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves and then up to finish that move. Or at any point we can start breaking out and back testing. So break out, back test, double bottom, maybe go a little low and then go up. But I'd watch it. We can definitely keep an eye on it. I'll add it to Tuesday night's class for show. Friday night maybe. Yeah, that's next Friday night. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for taking a look at it for me.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah, your measured move of that would be basically a double top right here. So you'd be coming up here at 0.13 cents to see if you can go higher and set a higher high, which shows continuation, or a double top that head brings you back down. Now you can come up here, double top, come back and hold support of this, and then move up. But only time will tell. So you're looking.
Yeah, it did kind of seems like it's back testing that prior trading range. So
yeah,
just something to keep in mind. But
yeah. But man,
well, man, I really enjoyed our conversation today, dude.
I did too, brother. I think it'd be a blessing. There's a nice trade set up for everybody before they get off. But yeah, Verge might take us on a Verge. But yeah, man, I hope to do it again. It's been a blessing, and I enjoyed it, man. I'm gonna continue to watch your work. Everything you drop, I'm gonna send people your way. The descriptions are gonna be in the below. But if you want to just shout out real quick where they can view you, for those that might be driving and listening or whatever, and working or whatever, tell them where all they can find you, man. And then help me get those links together, and we'll put them in the description of this video, so my community can follow your community, brother. I enjoy what I've watched in this conversation, and again, I hope that it leads to more.
Yeah, me too. And if anyone wants to check out my YouTube channel, it's Master Your Reality 33 is the actual handle. If you type that in, it should pop up. If you just type in Master Your Reality, it might not pop up. Or Master Your Reality Crypto will bring it up.
Find it.
So yeah, if people want to check me out there, I am opening up my, oh sweet, looks like we just hit 500 subs.
Yeah, nice. Congrats, congrats.
Thank you. I'm opening up my Discord for free until we hit 1,000 subs. So if anyone wants to get in there and come join the community, we'd love to have you. And that's going to be 100% free until we hit 1,000 subs. So that's where you can find me. And dude, thank you again for having me on and hosting this, and really appreciate the opportunity, and sending much love and abundance to everyone listening to this. And I look forward to next time, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Anytime. But yeah, it's just I watched you, like I said, that short video you had done when I found your channel, and some work you had dropped in a Waters Above Discord, a chart and everything, and I mean, I watched this, man, and I knew I wanted to do some work with you, invite you into my community. So it's been a pleasure and a privilege of mine, brother, to meet a like-minded individual like yourself and to see where it goes. So have a blessed day. Like you said, I'm sending you love and abundance and prosperity and gratitude. And until next time, my friend.
Until next time.
All right, pioneers, rise, build your fortress, build your legacy. Let's go.